Hello everyone, I'm Ace of Clubs Kid, and today I thought I'd make a useful video for you guys about how to get things that you want. And what I mean by that is getting kind of, electronic items or whatever you might want to get, whatever you might want to save up for, how to get those things. And this video is not about go onto some site and use surveys and stuff like that. This is really just my honest tips on how to get stuff that you might really want to save up for. I'll be the first one to admit that I have some pretty nice things. I have nice headphones, I have a tablet, I have iPod, I have, a lot of nice things. I have an iMac, but I'm really not rich at all, which may be kind of a surprise, but I'm really going to explain how I kind of go about getting some of this stuff and how you can get the stuff that you might want, and that's pretty much what this video is about. So like I said, this is not any sort of scam or anything. This is really just a lot of advice and tips that I can give you on how to kind of find stuff and how to get the money for that. And so yeah, let's just hop right into it. So first of all, I think the first step and one of the most important steps is researching the product you want. And I know that sounds really boring and it probably makes you think of school, but really what I mean by that is, let's just say that you want to save up for an iPad 3. Okay, so you want an iPad, you want to play games on it, you want to have it, you want to be able to, write on it, do that, emails, and that's what you want your iPad for. Well, what I would highly recommend you do first is, because there's so many tablets out there, first of all, check out the Android tablets and see what you think of those. And this is just kind of an example, it doesn't just apply to this, but, whatever else you might be looking for, you look around at the other options. So let's say maybe you don't like the Android tablets. Well, see if maybe the iPad 2 does what you want, because really it's $100 cheaper and it doesn't lack that many features than the iPad 3. So once you get in mind exactly which item you want and which one's going to be the best value, then you can start looking at some prices, which is kind of it's the second step, but it's kind of, still research. And that is, finding the best bargain. I always recommend using Amazon, eBay, Newegg for electronics, and Craigslist. Those are 4 really good sites, and you'll always find some pretty good deals on them. And really, first of all, I want to say Craigslist, it can be really, really good, but it can also be a little bit sketchy, because you never really know who you're going to meet. So do be careful, but also know that you can get some really great deals from just honest people that want to get rid of stuff. So that's a little bit of a note there. So once you have, researched what you want, also keep in mind that you can buy used items. A lot of people don't really find the idea of buying something used very appealing, but really this is the way I look at it. Especially with electronics, you're probably going to end up selling the item you have, or, exchanging it or doing something like that. You're not going to really keep it forever. You're going to get rid of it somewhere down the line. Or lose it or something like that. Hopefully not, but basically the way I see it is, if you buy something new, then what's really valuable about that item, what may make you pay an extra $100 or, $50, however much it may be, $75, is really the fact that it's still in that box, it's still wrapped in cellophane, and that no one has touched that item yet. And that's really what makes it valuable. Now, the second that you open up that item and take it out of the cellophane, it's now considered used. It's not, that $100 or $75 you spent just went away. It's gone. And I say that I really say that just to keep in mind that if you do buy an item used, you're probably going to be losing a fair amount of money on it when you try to turn around and sell it. So it is a really good idea to buy used items, because they won't really plummet in value so much, and especially because you can find such better deals. The seller can always make the point of saying that the item's brand new and, make you pay more for that. So just, look it up, get an idea of how much used items are. If say you have to pay maybe $50 less or so, for a used item, and it's maybe not in the best shape, it's probably worth getting a new item. But always just look around. Keep in mind that just because you do a little search for something and see how much something used is, or, you look for an alternative product, doesn't mean you have to buy it. You're just looking around at the price, and that's really what that step's all about. And that's a pretty important part of it. just kind of a little story that I thought I might share. You may have seen my last video, or actually a couple videos ago, when it was called Finding a Tablet. I was looking around for a tablet, and I knew I was going to get an Android tablet, and I was looking between two tablets, the Sony Tablet S and the Acer Iconia A200. And I was sure I wanted one of these. And, you know, they cost between $350 and $400 for them. And so I was looking around. You know, one day I decided to go on Craigslist and look up the Asus Transformer, which was a tablet that I liked, but I knew it was going to be more expensive. I happened to find a deal where I got the tablet itself with the attachable keyboard for $300, which was a really awesome deal. So that's just a little note I thought I might put out there. You know, stay open-minded, and if you look around for things that maybe aren't your first choice, you might find a really good deal and not really be expecting it. So, never underrate the power of doing research. Alright, so in this next step, we're going to be talking about a couple of ideas of how to get the money you need to actually purchase the item that you want. Like I said, you know, this is really just some tips, and in general, I think that they should help you, but they won't work for absolutely everyone, so just keep that in mind. I don't really get paid like a weekly allowance or anything. I used to, but, you know, I just don't anymore. And so I don't really have a regular income. I don't have a job yet because I'm not 16. And so I've done, you know, several other things in order to get money. You know, there's been a lot of times where my mom works at a church, and, you know, I've done things where I went there and just shredded paper or stuff like that. So, you know, if your parents are willing to have you work somewhere, I know it sounds kind of like preachy, but, you know, don't be afraid to do a little bit of work and get some extra money, because it's better to spend a couple of hours in doing a little bit of work and getting some money, rather than just sitting at home and kind of researching the product more, you know, because then you're not really going to be able to buy it, even if you do find a good deal. So do keep that in mind. Like I said, I'm not trying to sound too preachy, but if you're able to work, then do try, because it's good experience, and of course it's more money for you as well. Alright, just had to close my window because there's some annoying bird outside. But, yeah, back to this. Another really good way to get some extra money is try selling the stuff that you already have. Now, obviously, you want to keep in mind you don't want to sell things that you actually are using and that you like. Do definitely think about what you are selling. You may have noticed that I sold my bass guitar that I had. It's been almost all of my videos, but, you know, now I sold it. And I have to say I'm pretty happy that I did sell it, because I really never used it. It's been sitting there for, you know, it was sitting there for like 2 years or so, and I really didn't play it. And I did lose a little bit of money when I sold it, but overall, you know, I got about $350 out of it. So it was a really, really good choice for me, because, you know, the extra money is nice, and I'm trying to get this business started up right now. So, you know, for me, that was a really good choice. Obviously, if you're someone that plays guitar, you're not really going to want to sell that. Don't try and, you know, trade something you really like for something else you think you might really like. That's not a smart choice. But, you know, just little stuff you have lying around, like, you know, maybe you have a Game Boy or something like that. You have an old DS that you don't really use. Try selling those, and you may only get maybe 50 or 60 bucks out of it, but that's 50 or 60 bucks more that you can spend on your new item. So, I really do recommend selling things. You know, like I said, Craigslist, Amazon, eBay are all really good choices. Craigslist lets you sell things for free, so there's no, they don't take away any money because there's no PayPal, and eBay doesn't, or I mean, they don't take, Craigslist doesn't take away any money from you as well. So it is completely free, and you won't lose any money from actually using the site. Another thing that I'm going to put out there is that you also do have to be a little patient, especially when you're shopping online for things that may be used. You know, on Craigslist, on eBay, things like that. Don't necessarily jump for the first deal that you find. You're going to want to look around, and, you know, there's always people who just have items. They really just want to get rid of them. They don't really care that they get a whole lot of money. It's just like a garage sale. You know, you can find amazing deals at garage sales, but you do have to kind of look around and actually find the thing you really want. So always keep that in mind. And that also goes with being a seller. You know, if someone wants to offer you, you know, 20 bucks less for the item that you want to sell, it may not be worth it. And you're probably going to find someone that come around that's going to want to pay full price, if not more. Little story that I have, with my Kindle Fire that I had, that cost $200 new. I also got a case for it, which cost somewhere in the range of $30. And I used it for a long time. You know, I had it since last Christmas. And, you know, after a while I decided it just really wasn't for me. So I decided that I was going to sell it. and I posted it for 150, and then someone decided to pay me 160 because they had to wait a little bit before they could actually buy it. So patience is key. You know, I had people that wanted to offer me 130, but because I waited, I got more than I even expected. So keep that in mind. Alright, so another thing I'm going to be talking about is investing in products. You know, some examples of this are like buying sports tickets that may cost $50 when you first buy them, but may gain value over a year and be worth, you know, $150. You know, things like that are really smart to do because you gain $100 and you just sort of forget about it during the year, and then you have that extra money. You know, but it also does require some patience. So it's not something you can just do like buy it today, you know, sell it a week from now. It's something you have to plan for. You know, you have to know that you're going to need that money in a little bit. So just thought I might show you an example of this. I went to MagicCon this year, which is a convention for magicians, and they always sell these playing cards. They only have these at the conventions, and they only make a certain amount of them. So I got 3 decks. They cost about $5 a piece, and I got one for free. And this is a good investment because actually, you know, in a couple months, these are actually going to be worth about $40 a deck. So it's a good investment. They've just really been sitting here, and you know, sure, it's about 10 or 15 bucks that I've lost, but I'm going to turn around and make that money back, and it'll be a nice, you know, extra amount of money to have. So that's just a little note. You know, it is something that requires patience, like I said, but it's also really going to pay off in the long run, as long as you get something that you know is going to gain value. Alright, so I thought I might throw out a little note here. I really don't recommend that you try and go on sites that say you can get, you know, free iPod, free iPad, free iPhone, stuff like that. You know, usually when someone is telling you that something's free, there's always a catch. You know, people don't just kind of make sites and say, oh, well, I have $1,000. I'm just going to give away, you know, free stuff because I can. There's always surveys you have to do. There's personal information you have to give away. And even if you do go through with that, and you maybe do get your free item, someone now has, you know, maybe your credit card information, your email address, and that's pretty dangerous. In other cases, sites operate on pyramid schemes, which is basically, it sounds exactly like what it is. There's basically a couple people on the top who make lots of money, and there's lots of little people on the bottom who don't really make much. They feel like they're getting a lot because they're, you know, let's say like lockers, for example. That is you do stuff, you take surveys, you get other people to go. You're really working for free, and they're rewarding you every once in a while, and you get maybe, you know, Xbox or whatever. So items that you want, but the time you're putting into it is really not very well spent, and it's just not a good thing to get into. In the real world, you're not really going to be able to sit around on your computer and, you know, just kind of send people surveys and make money like that. It's not a good way to make a living. And if it was really that easy, everyone would be doing it. I would be doing it. Everyone would be doing it. You know, there's just that kind of idea has been around for a long time, and now it's just really easily accessible because of the internet. So just a little note I thought I might throw. Alright, so one last little note that I'm going to throw out there is I really don't recommend saving up for something and getting, you know, all this money, let's say like $300, then going and spending all of that. I really recommend that you always cushion yourself and have at least $50 left over after you buy something, because it's a lot easier to start out with a little bit of money than start out with no money next time you want to buy something. You know, it's just always something that I've done, you know, in the last year or two. I always used to, of course, when I was a kid and I wasn't getting that much money, when I would buy toys, I would spend, you know, all the money I had getting a new toy, and then it would take, you know, a long time to get up from save up from the new one. But it really does pay off if you save, you know, at least $50 or so, depending on the item that you're actually purchasing. You know, that way, if you want to get accessories later, even, you can, you know, go out and buy those. Maybe screen protectors, maybe a stylus or something like that. Whatever it may be, you know, you never know when you might need something else that you didn't really think about. So, that's all I have to say for this. I hope this was a useful video for you. I hope you take these tips into account, and comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you later. Bye.